welcome back to Style It Out, our vodcast series in partnership with F&F, where we explore the clever tricks and calm confidence it takes to stay stylish when things don't quite go to plan. In this episode, we're trading wardrobe malfunctions for hosting mishaps as we sit down with chefs Natalie, Chassay and Benjamina Ebuehi, celebrated for their creativity both in the kitchen and around the table. They're here to share how to pull off an impromptu dinner party, salvage a sauce-stained outfit, and style it out when the starters burn, all with poise, personality, and little help from F&F's affordable, versatile homeware. Welcome both. So excited to get into it. Yes. We start every podcast with what we're wearing. So everyone, show us your F&F fits. Nat, I'll come to you first.
I've got these wide leg, sort of sage green pinstripe trousers, which I love. The little white seam going down the side and like cuff, and they're elasticated.
Dream.
Fantastic. Important. And this gorgeous like utility jacket, which actually also comes in cream. I couldn't decide, but I've gone sage on sage.
Love that.
Yeah.
It's actually so cool because this is the second one in the series that I've done. We're doing several of these, and it's really cool to see how everybody picks something different. Like I would have thought,
I was excited to see that.
I'm like going after certain bits, and I'm like, I hope, but then everybody goes for something different. I love it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Benjamina, what about you?
I've got this lovely brown crinkle dress, and I just love it because it kind of like sucks you in at the waist a bit, so it makes your waist look a bit smaller.
Gorge.
And it's comfy, it's stretchy, it's not too like restrictive, especially when you're like at a dining table. You haven't got the bloat.
Oh yeah, that's a good
and a nice midi length. I love the little neck.
Yeah, I love the little. It's got like a little twisty detail. Yeah,
yeah, it's cute.
But it's also nice how it goes slightly like in at the top. It's very flattering.
Yeah.
Like
And it's not too thick.
It's not too like wide, sitting
Very
gorge.
chic.
Yeah,
Very comfy.
I didn't see that.
No,
I'm
nice
like,
to I. This also keeps happening. Everyone's like, interesting.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. Well, I'm in a double denim situation. These are very comfortable. These jeans.
I love
Like
this.
wide-
Leg
I love the wide
situation.
leg.
Yeah, me too. Okay. We're here to talk all things entertaining. As I said before, the theme of these podcasts is styling it out. So we're gonna get into all the disasters. But the biggest thing that I think we've realized in doing these podcasts is that we're all just styling it out in our everyday lives, aren't we? Like we're busy modern women. Do you just feel like you are styling it out constantly?
All the time, all the time. And you just got to go with it. And also, I think understanding that everyone else is probably doing the exact same thing just makes you a bit less stressy. So we're just doing our best.
We're
just doing our best.
Yeah.
It's true. Nah.
Every day is different.
Yeah.
Some days feel more stylish than others. But yeah, just trying to get it all done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about personal style, both with what you wear and in the kitchen. How do you describe your own style?
I'd say I'm quite simple, like a less is more kind of gal. Not super huge on like patterns, but I love bold colours. I love block colours and kind of mismatching colours together. And I think that also translates to the kitchen as well. So like my food, it's delicious, but it's not doing the most. I'm not going to add like 100 garnishes on it. So it's just a little bit stripped back, a little bit minimal, a bit chic, and kind of does all the talking.
I love that. I love that there's actually a connection between how one presents oneself and what you do in the kitchen. Nat, what about you?
Style-wise, I don't know. I'm a bit like constantly confused with my style in a way. I'm just always trying to figure out exactly what I love to wear and feel best in. But like I do feel my best in like t-shirt, good pair of jeans, a blazer, a nice pair of heels. But then it's complicated because that's not the kind of food that I would cook in. So when it comes to like shooting content, I'm not going to shoot content in a big, like, oversized blazer with, like, a hot stew in front of me. But then I don't know what to shoot in because I want to wear something pretty, but then, I don't know. I'm a bit confused.
I think you need to look to Nora Smith, who is
Well,
wearing the most.
Yes,
I mean, you know, stranger things have happened.
I mean, she's outrageous.
Yeah.
Like, I need to be
Some of the
comfortable in the
dresses,
kitchen,
I'm
but, like, I
wow.
struggle to find that perfect balance of, like, being comfortable, but also still feeling
Yeah, I get that.
elevated.
I get that.
But I'm really into stripes at the moment. I didn't realize it until I was actually looking at my Instagram account. In every reel, I'm wearing stripes. Like stripes, I don't know. Anyway, so I like a pattern. I like simple, but then with one thing that maybe like makes it stand out.
Yeah.
Or extremely black, white, grey, denim, simple.
I guess it's interesting talking about kind of shooting content, as you say, because obviously I don't think Nora Smith is looking for relatability, right?
Yeah.
Is she? But you're cooking recipes that are about comfort and entertaining and home and ease. So I guess you want to be able to reflect that in what you wear, right?
Yeah, but then you also still want to look like I shot something the other day in this like nice frilly top, and I'm watching it this morning. I'm like, I don't know if this is me. Would I really wear that? I mean, I know we're going to get to more like what we actually wear in the kitchen and stuff, but anyway.
Okay, so go on then. What do you actually wear? When you're cooking, when you're slaving away, what are you actually wearing?
Like a t-shirt.
Yeah, like comfort is important, especially when you're in the kitchen for hours, you're recipe testing, you need to be comfortable because you're going to be like a bit sweaty. You might get stains from food. And so comfort does kind of trump a lot of the time. But equally, you do want to look good.
Yeah.
And you want to like represent your style well. So I find it a hard balance. I'm a dress girly. So I will have just a comfy dress that's not a Nora Smith kind of dress.
Yeah.
But just a cute midi, maybe a nice neckline, and then that adds a bit of interest to it. But comfort does come quite high up on my list.
Yeah, I mean, guys, I have to say, I'm not a professional, but if I'm cooking, I'm wearing like my oldest, messiest clothes ever because like shit gets splattered, right?
I actually don't shy away from wearing white in the kitchen at all, strangely. But I like what you say about dresses. I want to get into dresses more. I don't wear dresses that much, but it is a whole outfit.
It's a whole
like,
outfit.
It's a
So much
whole
easier.
outfit. I feel like you don't really wear
No, I
dresses
really don't. I really
that much
don't.
either. I
too
want
kids.
to wear dresses.
I'm not very feminine in the way I dress, and it just I couldn't tell you why. It just doesn't feel like me. But I agree. I think it's so easy.
I mean, there's a lovely dress on the website, like this shared, like butter yellow dress with and it's gorgeous. And I think I need to okay, I'm going to try out dresses more.
Dresses. And
it's like throw on a dress.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, it makes sense.
Such an easy option, just one choice. Put on the dress, that's
so
it.
true.
When I have to start mixing and matching, then I get a bit flustered. And I'm like, oh, what do I put this with?
You're right, especially if you're struggling to identify your own style. Actually, just one thing.
Yeah.
Quite useful. Okay, what about when you're entertaining? Do you either of you have a go-to outfit for when you've got people coming over? What do you like to host in?
I think comfort also plays into it naturally because when you're hosting, you've obviously got to think about the prep before people get there and you're running around and you're doing this and doing that. But I do, as well as dresses, I do also like co-ords because again, I don't have to think too much because it's already a pairing. And F&F have a gorgeous red co-ord. It's like a red crop top and then a gorgeous like maxi skirt and it's bright red and I love red.
Yeah, Catherine
oranges.
was wearing it on the podcast we recorded, the first episode. It's really cool.
Beautiful.
It's really cool.
So things like that where it's making a statement but it's just a co-ord. It's already done for me and it's still quite flowy and comfortable. I don't feel restricted. So something like that is also a good go-to.
I think a co-ord's a great shout. And I quite like, silky pajama-y type sets. But for me, I want to feel slouchy. Like that's the word. And these actually come in like a similar style, like a wide leg slouchy cotton trouser. Like I would do that with a shirt, kind of half tuck vibe. Because that is really, when you're entertaining, that's the most hustling you'll ever do. Like more so than like shooting content, it's just you. Like you're really moving a lot. So I think comfort is key, but you want to feel elevated. So for me, like I love shirts, like a baggy white shirt with some slouchy trousers, a little heel, small heel.
I was about to ask about the footwear thing because the thing is, as the host, right, you're setting the tone for what you want the evening to be on you. Like if you're going barefoot, you're giving a certain vibe.
Yeah.
If you're adding a shoe, it's a different vibe, right? So maybe does it depend on who you've got coming over, what you're cooking?
I think for me it does. It depends on the crowd. I think I do lean more casual anyway with like when I'm having and hosting people over. So I find it more comfortable for everyone. So it does depend. Sometimes I'm barefoot. If we're in the garden, then it doesn't even matter. But if it's a really special one, then just like a small heel, nothing crazy, is a good choice.
I think a small heel, but it depends. Is it a dinner? Is it lunch? Is it casual? So you got to like read the room. But also, if I really don't know, I'll just be like, sorry guys, no shoes inside the house. Even though I don't normally do that, but like as long as I've got a pedicure, like
It's a rule
that
today.
will be my rule.
Just today,
But
no other
definitely
times.
not high heels. Like
Oh,
you would
no,
never
no.
ever catch me in the kitchen in high heels. Actually, I
Never.
don't really wear high heels.
The only time I do high heels in the kitchen is for girls' Christmas.
Oh,
Cute.
where it's like dress up.
Yeah,
everyone
where,
dress up.
exactly that.
Okay.
Yeah. But I quite like going quite glam then with bare feet if I'm entertaining, like doing like a big
Balance.
earring. Yeah, because then it's like I'm chill. Welcome to my home. But like
but
I'm,
also I
I'm
look
also,
great.
and I'm also like respecting the occasion.
I'm the host.
Yeah, it's my house. Okay, but get a pedicure before. That was the advice. Okay, what about if you do have a spill, if there's a spillish situation, what's the one thing that you have in your wardrobe? Now, I'm guessing for you it's that shirt. What is the one thing that you're like, okay, that is my emergency. If all else fails, I'm going to change it to that. If
ready to go, like hanging up near there.
Just any shirt.
Yeah, just a shirt. Then it is good to have in mind something that you could throw on because accidents do happen. Depending where though, you could also just throw an apron on. Like, you know, I've got like cute little waist aprons, so you don't have to feel like you're wearing a whole, you know, neck thing.
1950s. Yeah. I don't have an apron.
Do you know?
No,
I'm such an apron. I've got too many aprons.
This is why you guys don't spin. And I haven't even thought about buying an apron. That makes total sense. Benjamina, anything you reach for?
Similar. I think a nice apron, not one that you have to put on, but just a nice half one. I've got a gorgeous denim one that I love. Or just maybe like something you can throw on if the stain is a bit over here, maybe a little cardi or a jumper that kind of goes with the bottom half that you could just throw on. It's always a good option.
If not, style it out.
Just style it out. And
Just
just
own
own
the
it.
same. There you go. It happens. How has both of your style changed over the years as you have begun to host more? I mean, I'm kind of talking style, personal style, but I'm kind of talking hosting style too. It's a muscle that strengthens as you get a bit older, right?
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think when I first started, maybe like after uni, and you think, I want to have my friends around, I want to be cute, I want to host. I just did the most. Too much to the point where you just get overly flustered and you want to just put too much of your best foot forward almost. You want to put all your best dishes, all the best tableware. Everything has to match. Everything has to be perfect. Nothing can go wrong. But as I've gotten older, just embracing that more casual side of it, even if it is a fancy dinner party, it's nice to have that bit more casual elements where things aren't necessarily matching. The dishes don't all have to be perfect. Everyone doesn't always have to have a plated dish. I put just big platters on the table and let everyone help themselves. So just embracing a more relaxed side of it. And I think that also links with my style as well. Just leaning into that like effortless vibe, I would say.
You're nodding, Nat.
I'm nodding.
Yeah.
If I can like focus on those nice, I don't know, having like more of a uniform like makes me feel good. You know, when I started sharing recipes online and it would have been like lockdown, and then the years after that, I would host a lot, and I would, you know, people would come over and it would be like a stunning table set and there would be snacks on arrival, but not just like hummus and crackers. It would be like 3 different types of crostinis and, you know, I would slave, and then there would be a pasta course served and plated, and then like a slow cooked meat dish, then some sort of dessert. I do not do that anymore.
Well, you've had a baby since then as well.
I've had a baby, and this passion of mine has also turned into a profession. So if I'm shooting lots of recipes a week, like the last thing, to be perfectly honest, I want to do come Friday is host people for dinner. So my most enjoyable like hosting experiences are last minute, small. I don't want more than 6 people anymore. I used to have like 14 people around. So like keep it small, keep it intimate, keep it simple, throw something in the oven at 9 a.m. and eat it at 7 kind of vibe.
I know you say that you kind of eschew the trends, but do you guys both feel that also the trends in food and entertaining have changed sufficiently that now it's kind of more acceptable to have that kind of casual dining? I feel like, you know, 5-10 years ago, it was more conventional to plate things up or to kind of have a slightly more formulaic way of entertaining, whereas now there's so much inspiration out there for, I don't know, something a bit more casual.
Yeah.
I think so. I think that's a really good point. I think a lot of us, especially probably, you know, similar age group, are leaning into that. I'm trying, but I'm not really trying too much.
Exactly.
And you've got the likes of like, you know, Alison Roman and her nothing fancy kind of vibe. And
it's quite Laura Jackson. It's that kind of, oh gosh, this old thing type.
Threw it together. But I quite like it. And it may be a trend. I hope it's a trend that's here to stay for a while, because it does feel like it takes a bit of pressure off if things aren't perfect and if things aren't matching. And it's just having your friends round. You just want to cook them a nice meal.
Yeah, I so agree.
Yeah. Like hosting is chaotic, but you know, and I think if you just lean into that like imperfection in it, then it's more enjoyable for everyone.
For sure. I want to ask about your kind of hacks for making it, you know, look and feel gorgeous. But while we're kind of on the how do you make it easy path, what are your, you know, when we're all acknowledging and agreeing that we're not cooking big elaborate meals anymore, so kind of what are you doing? Are you subbing out desserts for cheese course? Like, what do you do to make your life easier food wise now when it comes to entertaining? Now, you said you just make a one pot dish.
I think I don't do desserts, so like I'll always ask someone to bring dessert, but I'm happy to put cheese out. So that's like strike one thing off the list. I don't really do. I will have some like snacks to start, but something, you know, simple and easy. You can like throw a tart together with such ease, like roll out some puff pastry and throw some onions and anchovies on it, and you've got something wonderful that is
a casual version of that.
Very effortless, yes. And then for like the mains, I think really keeping it simple. So you want to have like a protein, something green, and a starch. You do not need to do a million side dishes. Like it's just not necessary, or even a starter course. Like your snacks on arrival can be like your starter course.
So great.
Yeah.
So I love slow cooked meats. Like, you know, if it's winter, you can do some lovely short ribs or lamb shanks or even roast chicken. As much as I love roast chicken, you have to be timed with it, right? So if you're not really confident in the kitchen, even something like that, you got to be conscious of setting time. Is like, I just like to cook something that can sit and get better as it sits.
Yeah.
So slow cooked meats or even a slow cooked chicken dish, and then, you know, a lovely side of fresh. I'm always just like a sucker for a very good zippy salad. So like radicchio and a great vinaigrette. That's it. To go along your, you know, with your slow cooked meat and throw some potatoes on the table. Like happy days.
Happy days. Benjamina?
I'm a little bit the opposite in the sense that I'm a dessert person.
Well, naturally.
Of
course you are.
I've got to have people come and they're expecting multiple desserts. So I will always have 2 desserts just because I love it as well. But even in that, making it easier is making things in advance. And a lot of desserts, you can make elements in advance. If you're making a pavlova, make the meringue the day before, throw on some cream, fruit, boom. You haven't actually done. Pavlova is always a good choice. So that there are ways to make it easier. Buying shop bought puff pastry, you don't need to make it from scratch. Things like that just make the dessert side easier. And similarly, I won't really have a starter. Nibbles, some good bread, homemade or shop bought, that's fine. And just some nice olives and some nibbles is plenty. And then for main, similar to you as well, just a good protein and a couple of sides. You don't actually need to have 20,000 things going on. Less is more.
I will say one more thing on it, just in case people want to know. But I think for those people who don't eat meat or pescatarian, a whole fish is an amazing and very easy thing to cook. It's so easy. Like get a whole sea bass and just stuff it with herbs and lemon and olive oil and salt and whatnot. And that you can kind of bake, you know, maybe 40 minutes before you want to serve it.
And cheaper often than buying a big piece of meat as well, depending on how many people you're serving.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about disaster. General, it doesn't have to be food specific, but general moments you've had to style it out because now you're talking about slow cooking a piece of meat. In my current kitchen, we hosted people probably about a month after we moved in, and I have one of those ovens where you have to press it twice to know that it's on. And so 3 hours into my slow roasted lamb, I realised that it hadn't cooked.
Still raw.
It was still raw. It hadn't cooked at all. I ended up just roasting it like through the dinner and then had it the next day. It was really sad. Anyway, what about you guys? What are the moments you've had to seriously style it out?
A couple of things that come to mind, like over salting chicken. I just was not paying attention, and I was adding it to the chicken. Then I added some to the sauce, and then I just tasted it. People were already there, and I just had a little taste. And I thought, this is so salty.
It tastes like the sea.
Oh my goodness, what have I done? And so in those instances, styling it out is one, I think just owning it and being like, guys, this is really salty. I'm so sorry. And then just try to like whip up a really quick, like sticky, sweet kind of glaze just to go with it, with a bit of lemon because acidity can help kind of cut that. But also I think owning it was also a big part of it, because if not, I would have just gotten so flustered in my own head and panicked. But just say, guys, I've messed this up a little bit. Like, it's going to take me a few minutes just to sort it out.
Yeah, I did a fish stew once and I put the fish in for a bit too long, so it literally just flakes apart. So what was supposed to be a stew ended up just being like a little soup starter, you know, without the polenta and whatnot. But I think knowing, having like your coordinates down to where the closest rotisserie chicken is key.
Same.
Yeah. What about styling out your space, your entertaining space, your home? What are your let's do easy, and then also like maybe it's not all about the quick wins. Maybe it's also about the kind of more elaborate things. So starting with the easy things that you do to make your home, your space, your kitchen feel ready to entertain. What do you do?
I think having just a good set of core basics ready to go is amazing. So F&F have some great pieces that I saw. They've got this gorgeous wooden bowl, which you could use as a fruit bowl or can go in the middle of your table. You can use it for dessert. And I also saw they had these gorgeous like champagne saucers fantastic for champagne, but also for desserts, for olives. You could put a tiramisu in
those
there.
silver ones.
Yeah, these were glass.
Ooh, chic.
Yeah,
Love them.
really
Okay, yeah.
nice glass. You could put a tiramisu in there. You could put a panna cotta in there. You could put champagne in there. And so having things that have multiple uses, and then you just have them as your core and can use them for multiple things, I think is such a win.
Nat, what about you?
Keeping it simple again is good, and just having a few key pieces. I think candles are huge in setting the mood. And so having some nice candlesticks as well. F&F have these nice long, thin ones, which just on top of, a linen tablecloth, it's just done. Like the work is done for you. So literally just very simple things. I think having some nice placemats are good. There's some really lovely woven placemats, which I love, which is really nice for summer. And I think just having fun with different textures and fabrics, like I know bows have been done to death, but they do look lovely, like just get some fabric and tie little bows around, I don't know, your napkins and stuff. So get creative, but also keep it, don't go.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
So
find the balance.
Those woven mats are getting so much airtime. People are obsessed with them. Also, I'm sorry, I was actually just looking down at this while you were talking about candles. Isn't that so
pretty.
chic? That's
I love
obviously
that.
Just 2 of those on your table, a little 4-wick candle.
Super simple.
And they've got those like mega packs of tea light candles.
Which
and just having
you can
those.
never have too many tea lights.
Don't you just absolutely? I was going to burn through those. Like they are literally every time I just absolutely I don't know.
But
always
to
make
have
the bag.
like always have a big stash
Yeah.
of those, and then you're set.
So useful. When you're going the extra mile, what do you do to kind of up the ante on your hosting?
I think things like flowers is what I would opt for when I just want to have something a bit different, because you can get such really good seasonal things depending on if it's summer or autumn. I know F&F have some really pretty vases, so you could get things of different heights. Or you can also just get like a little flower frog. I love my flower frogs, and you can just stick the stems
I
in.
haven't got into them yet. I really must.
Is that the spiky
the little spiky thing,
yeah.
and you just have a few stems, so you don't even need to buy tons of
So
flowers.
useful.
And then just even if you're not the most floristry person, you can just make such a really nice arrangement.
I must do that, yeah.
And they just look so chic. I love them. So flowers is a good option when you want to do a bit more.
Good tip.
Yeah, no, I agree on the flower front. I also think, I keep saying keep it simple for everything, but with flowers, like choose one type of just a beautiful long stemmed flower, right? And just dot a few around. I think that's really chic. I don't love it when I go to a dinner party and there's so much stuff on the table that you can't see the other person, that you can't move around. So I think being spatially aware of the table is a good one. And I really love the sort of intersection of fruit and vegetables and flowers. So I like over Christmas, I had people over and I just, similar like with the champagne glasses, I just had grapes, red grapes draping out of them.
So
and
chic.
it's so easy. And then you can eat them as well. And it just looks good. And
Everyone's happy.
so fruit and veg, but like choose one thing, like don't turn it into a vegetable patch, but like,
And the next day you're like, well, I've got 800 tomatoes. I don't know what to do with them. Yeah. What about a standout tablescape that you remember? Is it a wedding that you've been to or an event? Like, where have you, I've actually got one in mind. Have you been to events, something that you're like, wow, that was really special? Can I go first? Just
go.
Since I have one in mind. Off the back of what you said, I went to a work dinner a couple of months ago, and they also, the whole thing, Sky Gingle, the chef, catered the dinner. And it was all about using fruit and veg down.
Oh yes, I saw
It was
this.
so incredible. They used artichokes and whole radishes, and they got really, really. It was like a greengrocer running down the table, but it was in a big grand location, and it was incredibly spectacular. So you take bits of inspo, from that.
I like
maybe
that.
just like a few artichokes.
Yeah, artichokes are
lemons.
stunning.
Yeah,
like that is
stunning.
a really good. Like they look so good on a table.
Yeah,
just
they really
the baby ones as well, and they kind of just overlap each other. So yeah, I went to an event recently, and there was this beautiful very drapey orange tablescape. I love drapes. I love it. I love seeing a tablescape that uses like fabric and there's that texture and against the fruit and the veg and the flowers, and just it's amazing. Like it's so nice though, because people really are taking an interest in this stuff at home.
So true.
And you can create these beautiful scenes, but like take inspiration from the really big extra ones and do like a smaller scale at home.
Benjamina, any springs to mind?
I went to an event and the tablecloth wasn't even a tablecloth. It was like this gorgeous brown kind of craft paper, and they had like written everyone's names on it, and they'd done these really cool illustrations of the menu and kind of what was to come. And I thought that was just beautiful. So if you are a bit more arty. If you can draw, I can't draw, but if you can, then that's just a fun way of making it feel more personal as well. And you could do little doodles of your guests. That was a really fun one.
Love that. Okay, I've got a question here on serving confidence and not perfection, which has been a theme of our conversation. What is something you now intentionally embrace that once would have felt like a disaster? I was hosting Girls Christmas this year and had to text my best friend and say, I'm really sorry, but can you bring your own fork? Because I have 8 sets of cutlery, and I suddenly was like, well, we're going to be 9 people. So babe, I was like, you've got to put it, don't tell anyone, but she was like, bring a fork in your bag. That would be great. So what are those things? And anyway, obviously I told everybody else once she got there because it was funny. So you've got to, as you said before, you've got to own these things and start it out. So yeah, what are the things that would have previously kind of stressed you out and now you just go with it?
I think fairly similar to you, but just asking for help. I think I would just try and do all the things all the time myself. And at the end of the night, sometimes you're just so pooped out. You're like, that was just intense. You enjoyed it, but it just takes a lot out of you. And so I think now just leaning into asking for help. Yeah. And so if someone offers, I can pick up some bread. Yes. Please do. Thank you. That would be great. Or I can bring a dessert, or I can bring some of the side. Just let me know. And so leaning into people actually just bringing stuff as well. Bring a dish if you want to, bring a side, bring some veg. That is actually so helpful, and also gives me a chance to just enjoy it a bit more because I'm not doing all the things.
Yeah, don't be a hero.
Ask for help.
Bringing a bottle of wine. Like, usually, can I bring something? No. You're so right. It's like, just say yes, it's fine.
Thank you.
I've also had to force myself to keep things more simple, because my husband and I would end up we would just fight after every dinner party because he'll be up doing the dishes and whereas I'm actually okay to do a rough cleanup and deal with it the next day, and he just can't. So then he gets annoyed at me because it was my idea to host and I go do all this extra stuff. So I've had to scale it back. But I think, it's just being okay with the mishaps. I know we touched on it before, but if something's overcooked or undercooked, it's fine. I think we feel like we're being judged, right? And just keeping, reminding yourself that everyone's just there to get together and have a good time. Don't worry too much about timings, although I have a vague idea.
Although actually do a bit.
Do a little bit, but it's okay if things
are a bit off.
Don't go to plan.
What about, we've talked a lot about hosting other people, but what about when it's just you, whether it's by yourself or with a partner? Do you, at that point, are you just like, screw it, and it's a takeaway, or are you styling things out for yourself if you've got a quiet night in?
I think sometimes I do, because most of my work is creating things for others. So when I do get a chance to do something for myself, it is really nice to make it a bit special. And so I might use my nice plates. I might use my champagne, my F&F champagne sauces, and put my ice cream in there, make a little ice cream sundae.
Girl dinner.
Yes.
Nice. Love it, yeah.
And so I think it is important just to have some nice things for yourself and not always just for other people. So any little touches that I can just make it feel a bit fancy, I definitely do it.
I love that. I'm the same. My husband's away this week, and I'm already thinking about, I bought new glasses this weekend. I'm going to use my new glasses. I'm going to burn my incense, all the scents that he doesn't like. I'm going to burn all those candles around the house. I quite like doing that for myself. Nat, you're more of,
how honest can I be? Serious question. Do you want me to do the?
No, totally fine if you.
No. If I make myself a salad for lunch, it's out of a large mixing bowl, and that is how I will eat it. Yeah, stacks of silver mixing bowls is my key thing in the kitchen that I need. But I don't know. I think it's more so having a toddler. Navy eats dinner at 5. So by the time she's eaten dinner, I'm not going to come back down with John and have. So we're kind of just picking, but it's just a different phase of life. Yeah. I used to make things a bit more special, but I'm kind of happy with the way it is now. I know that those special moments will return eventually.
Yeah, it's so true.
The chic moments, I guess.
Yeah, but there will be more chic moments to come. Earlier I was talking about my fork and how I didn't have enough forks. What do you guys do when, we've talked a lot about proper hosting, big plans. What do you do when it's 6 p.m, you're trying to decide what to do with friends and they're like, we'll come to you for dinner, or we're going to take whatever it might be. How do you kind of whip up something? Do you bother?
Yeah, I think in that scenario, I would always lean on things that I almost always have in the cupboard. So spaghetti, anchovies, capers, chili, lemon, make a lovely pasta.
Yeah.
And actually that's where also to have nice bowls and serving things really serves you.
Yeah.
Because you can make something, out of nothing. These really nice F&F matte black pasta bowls, but the inside is cream. So it's just like minimal, chic. Throw pasta in there with some toasted breadcrumbs on top. And that's easy. That can come together in literally as long as it takes to cook the spaghetti. So that would be like a go-to for me.
Love that.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Sometimes I do really enjoy the impromptu, are you home? Can we come round? I'm like, yeah, challenge. What am I going to do? Like open the fridge. And that's when it's fun to do a nice like fridge raid dinner. I might do a fried rice, throw things together. There's always like a chili oil. There's always some eggs, put a fried egg on top. So I love those kind of meals. And again, like you said, having those core pieces that you can just put it up. And it's not about putting the tablecloth out and getting all the matching things. It's just using those core pieces, get a big bowl of salad maybe. They have F&F have this lovely wooden bowl that you could use for so many things, whether it's put all the rice in there and let everyone help themselves. So just using what you already have at home and not feeling you have to go out and buy something.
We've talked a lot about candles and tea light candles. Actually, and candles. And I saw on F&F a shell shaped candle holder, which I keep a lot of those kind of things around the house because again, then rather than just lighting a candle, atmospheric, but like you've just got them in the cupboards, you whip them out. So there you go. That plus your bowls and your big bowl.
Yeah.
Done.
Easy.
Sorted. What is on both of your kind of stylish hosting wish list? Is there anything you'd like to do, whether it's something ambitious or a cuisine, I don't know, but something that you'd like to achieve in your hosting canon?
I am like kind of going back to what we were talking about with this tablescapes and styling the fruit and the vegetables. There's a few accounts I follow and these guys make it look so easy. Glenn Arvar is one of the names. And the stuff he does with like fruit and veg and flowers, and it looks like I could do it. I'm like, maybe I can do it. And I know that like you really have to have the right equipment and the frogs and all the things. But I would love to challenge myself to do like a proper arrangement.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same. Benjamina?
Oh, I think I'd like to do just a really big dinner. I normally have, maybe like 6 to 8 is that really nice sweet spot of friends, but just something just gigantic just for the sake of it and just have a ginormous table, loads of people and just cook up a feast. I think just a big fat dinner party would be amazing.
I can't have you here and not ask you each about just one dish, just one little dish, something that you're making at the moment, something you're excited about at the moment.
So I'm going to share the recipe tonight actually, and it's a potato salad, which I am not actually a potato salad fan, but I know with summer coming up, people like swoon over a potato salad. And it's a really good potato salad. It's like got anchovies and capers and Greek yogurt and lemon and chives and crispy fried shallots and like brine from the capers. And it was the easiest thing to make and honestly like so delicious. So I'm excited to share that because I hope that that's like the perfect thing to take to your friends.
Yeah.
Like, can I bring a side dish? Yes, you can. Here's a great potato salad recipe. Go for it. Because I hate mayonnaise in a potato. I hate mayonnaise actually.
Okay.
Oh, do you?
Mayonnaise?
I just don't. Oh no, I like a olive oil mayonnaise that I make at home, like a homemade olive oil mayo that's like quite peppery and but just a regular mayonnaise. I'm not
for you.
Oh wow.
So Greek yogurt is like the sub, but it makes it kind of
makes it lighter,
lighter and tangy. Tangy is the key word. Anyway. That's
yum. Okay, I'm going to press you more on that afterwards. Yes. Benjamina, anything else?
Dessert. It might sound so random. I'm so into like choux pastry these days.
I mean, it doesn't sound random. It sounds high achieving, but sure.
But also just showing people it's not as difficult and it's not as scary.
Really?
No, for real.
Because I think it's scary.
No, it's not. In terms of other
terrifying.
pastry where you have to keep things cold and it's going to melt, choux pastry, you make it in the pan and then you just put it in the oven. So it's actually a bit more forgiving, I find. And so I'm just working on this recipe. These like quite fat, chunky choux buns, and then you've got the lovely like crispy crackling on top, and then you fill it with either just ice cream and some like macerated strawberries, bit of like grated chocolate. That's a really good summer dessert, and you can make the choux in advance, and then just scoop in some ice cream, some in-season fruit, and you've got a very good, easy dessert.
I mean, I'll happily eat it. Sounds quite ambitious to me, but it sounds delicious. I love it. That's how you style it out food-wise. But what about times you've had to style out the tablescape, the appearance, the way, the vibes of a dinner party? Anything spring to mind? Or how do you salvage things like I mean, you touched on mismatched crockery, Benjamina. Do you lean into that kind of thing?
I think there was a time where I just wanted a really super, super pared back table. And in my just like hectic brain right before people come, like just spilt some wine on the table. And I was like, oh no.
Oh, wait, sorry, I thought you meant on purpose.
No.
I was like, oh, I love that.
Maybe that could be
Jackson
something.
Pollock vibes. Yeah.
I'm not sure about that. And was just like, I could either just take off this whole tablecloth, and that is such a faff, or just like cover it up with some nice tea lights, back to the tea lights, lots of candles, make it super like atmospheric and vibey, and just kind of add some platters to the table and then put the food on when people get there. So just easy ways to, not inconvenience yourself too much and just cover it up.
Yeah, I wanted to iron some linens and some napkins because, you want it to look ironed, and then the iron broke. So you just had to like lean into the crinkleness of everything.
I like
actually
that,
like
Lily.
scrunch it up more, like make it extra crinkled. I took the napkins and just tied them up with string instead of like folding them perfectly. So it was just like a crinkled linen party, and it actually worked.
And that's very stylish.
Yeah,
these
so just
days.
like lean into the mistake,
Yeah.
and just kind of take it to the next level, I guess.
Yeah, love that. What about playlists? Can I ask you, what's your, do you change the music that you have on for a dinner party depending on like the people, the food? Do you mix it up?
I do have a French playlist that's like just my go-to because it's kind of like chilled, backgroundy, like that you can't walk into a dinner party and people are playing like the wrong music. It's totally off.
Can I take that? That's actually one of my biggest pet peeves in the entire world. Going to someone's house for dinner and there's like pop chart music playing.
Actual like kill the vibe
Kill the
immediately.
vibe. Like, I'm sorry, it's not about an Ed Sheeran
like,
ballad
what's
going on
going
during a
on?
dinner
I
party.
think jazz is like
Jazz.
if you're just type in like Miles Davis, Blue and Green, play that song and then hit the radio and you'll have a perfect playlist for the rest of the night.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, playlist is so important. The wrong playlist can just switch the whole mood off. And so I think things that are really mellow but still warm. Sometimes I'll lean towards instrumental, but sometimes, especially if it's like maybe a summer kind of garden party, then we have a bit more vibes, a bit more like R&B, soft R&B,
Okay,
but
nice.
nothing too intense.
Okay, yeah,
Nothing too intense.
It's a dinner party, like let's be simple. Yeah, my hack actually is to go for movie playlists. So like Vicky Cristina Barcelona, like for
very
summery
smart.
vibes, really gorgeous. Or like Midnight in Paris, also French jazz vibes. Like
That's
pick
nice.
a film with a
That's
good
really smart.
playlist
That's a
and
good
I
just
tip.
thought of that.
hit that playlist up. There you go.
Love it.
Fab. Both, thank you so much.
Thank
for
you.
being here today. What a treat to have
Thanks
you.
for having
Thank you,
us.
as ever, F&F. We haven't actually talked. What we should do before we finish is talk about some of the gorgeous bits that we have on the table. Because guys, these mugs, aren't they fun?
I
These
love.
are so cute. I love the
love,
pastels.
The pastels, and mine's
Pastel
pink and
colours.
green.
And it's a good size.
Great
Yeah.
for coffee. Yeah,
for
like
coffee.
that's the level of coffee
Good
I
mug.
need in the morning.
And actually, we were admiring these glasses last week as well. I love
Oh, I
these.
love-
F&F,
I love
these
the
little pink
pink
tints.
tints.
yeah, gorgeous.
Love the pink tint.
Love a pink tint. So there we go. Also, we should say vases, candles, incense, tray, everything is available at F&F. We've got some cushions knocking about here somewhere as well. Thank you for, we'll continue.
squeeze that in
These
there?
are the beautiful cushions. Thank you. Here's one we made earlier. Aren't they cozy? We've all agreed
I
that we don't
love
quite fit on the
these.
chairs with them.
Squish.
Really, really nice.
Really good
yeah.
squish.
They're nice.
Yeah, you can feel free to thrust them back across the room. Thank you so much. So, like I said, everything is available at F&F, including our outfits, which we talked about at the top of the podcast. Thank you both so much for being here.
you.
Thanks for
Loved our
having us.
chats. That's it for this episode of Style It Out. If you're feeling inspired, you can explore F&F's latest fashion and homeware collections at Tesco, in store or online. The perfect place to go for when you need to style it out. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. Have a wonderful day and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.